In case you missed the big announcement earlier, we are partnering with my dear friend Bob Goff, the founder of Love Does, and we are building a school in the Congo. Today he is here to chat with us. I am so excited. I know we need a little bit of good news in the world right now. So my friend Bob Goff is joining us. Would you help me welcome him? Hey Bob.
Oh, it's so good to be seeing your face. This is great.
Honestly, you taking the time just to do this, it really does mean so much. So much. And we have exciting news to announce.
Now we do. Come on, spill the
Now
beans,
we do.
girl. What have we been up to?
We
Let
are
everybody
building,
know.
I know, we're building a school in the Congo, which is going to be amazing. Bob, can you tell us all about Love Does? Can you tell us about the work you do and how it got started?
Well, first of all, this is just a great caper, and I love to get into mischief with you. It's been like the thing in our friendship for years, like mischief, but the right kind of mischief. And the idea of Love Does was born out of this idea that we could just be doing a good job at loving our neighbors, and some are across the street, some are across an ocean. And so we've been starting schools in conflict zones. When Uganda was in the middle of their civil war, we started the first school that now has 1,300 kids showing up every day. We've got a couple of schools in Mogadishu, Somalia, which is a little bit, it's like, yikes. And we're definitely going there together. We've built them in Iraq. We've got one in Afghanistan that we've just finished. And the next school for Love Does, you and your whole posse made possible. And I just want to thank everybody that was part of this great caper. It's located in the Virunga jungle. And if you've been hip to the genocide that happened in Rwanda, the genocideers then fled into the Virunga jungle, and they are all there, all the rebel groups. And what happens is the kids get caught in the middle. And what I want to do is have people educated enough to make a choice. I'm not trying to tell them believe this or think this or do that. I just want people to have enough information that they can actually decide for themselves. So the school in Congo, it's going in Virunga jungle. It is just outside of Goma. For those of you that aren't familiar with what's going on in the DR Congo, over the last, 15 or so years, over 15 million people have perished in this massive civil war that's happened on both sides of the country. This is located on the east side of the country, and 1.5 million people displaced by the fighting that's happening right now. And it's always the kids that end up taking the biggest hit in this.
In the shuffle.
Yeah, so what we want to do is create safe places. Safe places where people can learn, they can thrive. Faith is a big deal for me. I know it is for you. It's not for everybody, but I'm so glad that all the pressure's off, that like what we can do is just give people what they need. And if they need to learn how to read and write, teach them how to do that. And then let God take care of all the other stuff. But while he's busy taking care of that, we want to feed them. We want to give them the clothes they need. We want to give them the books that they need. We just want them to get a shot.
What is something in this experience that you've had with someone personally? Is there like one story that stands out to you? Like either a child or a mother or a father or someone working in the school? Is there like a story that stands out that you can like reflect on?
Oh yeah, it's the courage of the people that I met. There's a famous book called King Leopold's Ghost, and it's about how King Leopold from Belgium went and colonized the Congo, and all these people perished under his rule. Well, his great grandson decided to win back the family name. He went into the Virunga jungle, and he's trying to win it back. He's got a bunch of, they call them park rangers, but they all have RPGs. And he's trying to protect the kids. So get this, his name is Emmanuel. Is that awesome? So I wanted to meet Emmanuel. So a couple of us went across through the border into the jungle to meet him. And this guy just loves God and he loves kids. And I think that's what we can do from afar, from close at hand. We can just love the people that are adjacent to us. And so God draws this circle around earth and he says, everybody's in. And I
Yes.
think that's I want to do, just draw bigger and bigger arcs around people, particularly at a time where all this crazy is happening around us and people are like putting up the barriers. But
Yeah.
I want to draw bigger circles
Yeah.
and just say like, oh, get over here and
Mhm.
create a safe place. And the crazy thing is you and I and the people listening, we could create that at Starbucks. Just make a safe place where you could say, what do you need? Wouldn't that be beautiful in a moment of clarity to just say, what do you need? And when some of our friends in Congo, they just said they're young and they just need a shot at an education. Isn't that awesome? I love
I
that.
love that. There are so many things in the process. Being over here, we get to read, we get to write, we get to learn freely and openly. And the construct of not getting those luxuries, we think of them as just like, oh, it's what's handed to us. But the fact that you're going in there and saying, no, I see the value in this. I see the value in each one of these children. I see the value in these people. I love it, Bob. It's what makes my heart come alive. And whenever you give people education, you empower them. I love that you're saying, I'm going to go ahead and bring a school here, because it is about teaching these kids. It's about them learning not only how to be in the world, but who they are. And I think that's what's really special. And
Yes, I
giving
love.
them love unlimited.
Yeah, love with no agenda.
Yeah.
Like the love plus agenda equals program. So we just want to say
Yeah.
love plus no agenda.
Yeah.
Other than I know that I have an agenda for me. I just know in our friendship, I don't have an agenda for you. I know in our friendship, you don't have an agenda for me, but your agenda for you is probably to make the biggest impact you can, touch as many lives you can, give
Yeah.
people what they need the most.
Yeah.
And people have had setbacks. I bought a boat like a year or so ago, and somebody delivered the boat, but they didn't put the cork in it. It sank at the dock. It was the dock. It's 1,000 feet deep there. It's a deep dock, and so it sank. Having owned it for 1 hour, it was afloat. Well, we pulled that thing up, and it took a little bit of work to get it up. We sent it off. They fixed everything up. It got delivered yesterday. Guess what happened today?
It
Sank
sank.
the dock. I'm like,
At the
no.
dock.
Yeah, it's 1,000 feet deep.
Okay,
One of
for
the things.
everybody, wait, go for it. I was going to say, for everybody watching, what you need to be aware of whenever Bob says something like, it takes, yeah, it was a great effort, to get the boat out. He probably has a crane over his entire house reaching into the water to drudge out this boat, to pull it back up over it, put on an 8-wheeler. I
There's
just need people to understand the simplicity of that one line.
But there's something that happens for all of us. And for you, if you're listening, it may have been a relationship that sank at the dock. It wasn't your fault. It may have been an ambition that you had. And so for these kids, some of a life that they couldn't even imagine, it sank at the dock.
Yeah.
And so what we need to do is just to do whatever it takes to get that boat floating. And if it sinks again, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna pull the boat up again.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We lift each other up. We just take what people need and we don't impose our agenda on that. I just want to know whatever will lift people up. In the Benedictine tradition, the job is called a porter. And a porter greets people at the gate. You and I have talked about this before.
I love it.
He greets people and says, how can I help you on your way? And so in the Virunga jungle, you and me and the courageous group of people that are leading this, all of the people listening, we're just going to be porters. Update your resume, people. You're porters. We always say, how can we help you on your way? How can we lift you up? I know it sank at the dock. I know it wasn't fair. Let's get busy. Let's see what can really float in your life.
Gosh, I love that. I love that so much. You want to tell people how they can be a part?
Well, the 2 ways you can be a part is loving your neighbor right across the street. Find a person that's adjacent to you. Don't find somebody easy. Don't find Lauren. She's low-hanging fruit. She's easy to love. I'm a pretty easy guy to get along with. Don't shoot for me. Find somebody who's a little prickly, and it's a target-rich environment. You know, you're among them. We are all a little less lovely than we think we are. That's the first thing you can do. Like just that idea, love God, love your neighbor. And if you have excess beyond that, if you've got a greater capacity to love people than that, then reach out. Find there's some terrific organizations that are out there just helping people. Find somebody that's helping people with not a big agenda other than to love them and to give them what they need to get on their way. To say, how can I help you on your way? And you know what that'll do? It'll not only float their boat, it'll float your boat. It will. I feel like when we're doing things together, Lauren, like it just floats my boat a little higher in the water, doesn't it?
Me too. I feel like I'm being carried on those balloons. I'm going like up. Our friend Amy, she says this a lot about 5 ways that you can see someone else. And she might have a different way of saying it, but I love this. And you just said the number 5 is the one I couldn't remember. And you just said it. How can I help you? How are you today? I love you. Thank you. And I can't remember and the last one is sorry. Is to say sorry.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Use your fingers. There's something beautiful. Like, when I was learning my times tables, I would go like 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 8 is 72. Yeah. So use your fingers, and there's something beautiful about that. Instead of like, what if you take a meal today and you can go the way our friends in Congo do? They'll just eat with their hands. And to actually use your fingers and to say, it's messy, but it's actually kind of beautiful. I want us to refresh our mind to remember about who we used to be, how we used to see things. If you lose your car keys, what you do is you think, where was the last place I saw them? And return there. Well, what if you've lost your joy? What if you've lost your hope? Think, where was the last place I saw it? And then return there. And what we'll find is that there's some beautiful things waiting for there. There's probably a bunch of little kids. They're probably like, I don't know, this idea that Jesus doesn't seem to be nuts about lawyers like me. He had some pretty harsh things to say, but he loved kids. And so these are going to be the stories that you and I think, will talk about. It won't be about books we've written, songs we've sung. It'll be the people that we've touched. And I just want our conversations to be just filled with those. And it's not like just generosity. It's actually engagement. It's to say, this world is ours. We're spinning right now on the earth. We're going through the universe at 25,000 miles an hour. While that's happening, we're spinning at 1,200 miles an hour. So people, if you're listening and you don't think you've gotten a lot done today, you're making moves. But what I want to do is
thank you for that reminder.
I know. What I want to do is make moves in the lives of some people that actually sunk at the dock. Maybe some circumstances that were behind their control. And again, it could be across the street from you, and it could be across an ocean. But to engage that, there's a Bible verse that says, Galatians 5:6, the only thing that matters is faith expressed in love. And the crazy thing is, Jesus doesn't need our help. I keep asking him every day. I'm like, can I help you? He's like, no. He doesn't want our help. He wants our hearts. And so I just love that we get to do this caper with all of you.
Me too. Bob, this is a luxury that we get to be a part of, I feel. Just to get to see love displayed all around the world, given freely, like freely given. It really is true. And I hope that as I am taking my last breath, I'm still doing things like this with you. I hope that it happens, that you and I have this legacy of a lot of fun and a lot of love to give the entire world.
Packed with intention. Like people will know you and I as very enthusiastic, and that's terrific. And it's true. But underneath a veneer of enthusiasm is a mile of strategy. If you're like most people, you get 27,375 days to live. Is that crazy? I've got a clock counting backwards. For a guy who's 62, my number is smaller than your number. But whatever number of days we have, just don't waste them on the stuff that won't matter. And I just feel like, I just want to have that realization to say like, okay, we're about here. And I don't know, what are the stuff that I want to leave behind? And it's just so fun to get into this mischief together. So thank you.
Thank you.
I heard what you were doing. I was like, that is like so Lauren. So let's get into some mischief together. Again, people, you're listening right across the street, right next door to you. God doesn't give us a bunch of instructions. He gives us our neighbors.
I love that.
And he says, love them. I know they're creepy. They think you're creepy too. But there's something beautiful when we just get busy and you just see what happens.
The other day I did this interview and someone said, what is the thing that makes Lauren Daigle tick? And there was this genuine moment of realizing I love to share in the hope. I love to have this exchange back and forth. And I can think about these children and the stories that are going to come and this hope exchange that is going to be a part of the story that I cannot wait to see come to life. I can't wait. I think my armpits are sweating right now because I'm just getting so excited about it. Or it's just hot in here. No, I'm just so excited to be able to look at their faces just light up and the smiles that we're going to get to be a part of. But it is the simplest of things. I was talking with a friend yesterday and we were talking about the state of the world. And he said, you might not be able to see someone smile right now, but because it's covered by a mask, but you can see their eyes and you can see their hair. And that's enough to offer a compliment on. And the world just needs that type of love. The world needs that type of kindness, especially in times right now. So I'm excited to do this with you, Bob.
Oh man, it's just going to be good mischief. And one
Fun
of the things
run.
that I hope that as people are thinking about what's their next move today, I would just say move towards love. Like just move towards something that would be a courageous move for you. God never compares what he creates, but he's put you and I here and we're just saying next courageous move. And Lauren, you and I don't know how it'll go when we go into the jungle together, but I just delight that we're together in this. And here's the thing, to your point of living in anticipation, what if heaven is leaning over the rails, just wondering what's going to happen next in your life? I know Jesus knows everything before it happens, but what if all the angels don't? And what if they're leaning over and they're saying like, I wonder how this is going to turn out. I want our lives to be page turners, don't you?
Me,
Like living in anticipation. And then these kids won't even know your name or my name, which is awesome.
Yeah, I love it. We don't need it. That's for sure. That's awesome. Well, Bob, I love you. Thank you for your time.
Love you
Thank
too.
you, thank you, thank you. This is going to be sweet.
We'll
and when
be
I'm in San Diego, I'm
together.
going to come give you a big old hug.
Till we're together. All right. Air hug.
Air hug. I love you, Bob. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, friend.